Okay, we ready? Are we ready? Good evening. Good evening. It's Tuesday. I've got a lot of court. I'm day 2 or just I'm 20 yeah, I'm day 2 post-op. I had sinus surgery yesterday. I could barely talk last night, but I did like a 3-hour middle of the night session cuz slept all day after surgery. So, if I uh if I do that sometimes or if I sniffle a little bit, sinus surgery. Not fun. But out of all the surgeries I've had, and I've had a lot, it's not too bad. One of the side effects is blindness, so I can still see. That's awesome. Brain leakage, so I don't have meningitis that I know of yet. Taking antibiotics. I haven't smelled anything in almost 2 years, and I kind of smelled something yesterday. I haven't smelled anything today though, so hopefully that comes back around. Anyway, I've got a show. I spent all day watching court, and I cherry picked the best I could. There was one from Judge Simpson that I wasn't gonna do, but then I saw Mike do it. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll go on at 8 o'clock. If people find me before they find him, at least they'll see this one. It was kind of fun to watch. I got a little bit of Slavin, and I've got a little bit of Magistrate Kleperic, I think is his name. I have to go double check that. But I've got a sovereign citizen lineup coming from New York Detective. I saw Biggin through this on a show earlier. If I'm gonna have so much sovereign citizens in my channel, I might as well throw them all in there, right? So this one is coming out of, I forgot what state, but let me cue this one up for you. We'll watch some sovereign citizen. This one opens up with a man. She's blasting some Ice Cube. Today was a good day. Not gonna be such a good day for her. I cut out that part just because I don't really know the YouTube rules around music. I think I got hit for a couple things the other day that I ended up editing out. So I'm just gonna avoid music altogether. I'm gonna avoid the big channels like the ESPNs and the Olympic stuff, and well, I'm just trying to get around sports. Anyway, everybody's asleep in my house, so you are up with me, and let's hit play.
No, ma'am. Can you roll your window down for me? Okay. I need to talk to you a little bit more, so that's why I wanted it. And can you also turn your music down? Okay.
Is there an accident?
Ma'am, I'll be asking the questions, okay? I'm Officer Lee with Orlando Police Department. The reason you're being pulled over... 472-45. You're being pulled over because this young man right here is not in the seatbelt. Also, your tag is not coming back to anything.
I'm almost home.
Okay. Did you just understand what I told you while you're being pulled over? Okay. May I see your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance? Ma'am?
I lost my driver's license.
Out of what state was it from? And how long ago did you lose it? I really would like if you cut your music down so I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Well, with you making this a little difficult, I'm gonna have to pull you out of the car if you can't confirm who you are. So I want to know. There's some questions that I need to ask you, and I'd rather have your music down so I won't have to yell.
I can give you my name.
Okay. We'll just wait for another unit here.
Ma'am, turn the call off.
I don't feel comfortable with y'all. This is like no, do not open that car door. No.
Ma'am,
No, I am not getting out the car.
I'm
not
okay,
doing
turn
anything.
the call off for me.
I don't feel comfortable with y'all.
I understand
have
that. That's fine.
I have my rights. And I
Okay.
do not feel comfortable with any of this. I lost all my dang information just a few days ago.
Well, ma'am, the first
But I
thing
can give you my name.
you don't dictate us how we do a traffic
Man,
stop.
yes,
Okay.
I do.
No,
Because
no,
I
you
don't
don't.
feel comfortable. Yes, I do. I already went through
Was I on mute that whole time? Whatever, I'm not on mute anymore.
this with somebody else.
Well, she said daggone.
No, I don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
And Yes, I'm
need
gonna
to
do
step
this in
out
front
of
of my
the vehicle.
kids. No,
Okay?
no, I don't feel comfortable.
Ma'am, you really don't want to do this.
So y'all gonna yank me out my car?
Ma'am, we're telling you by law to get out of the vehicle.
By law?
By
For
law,
what?
we're allowed to
For
control the
what?
occupants of the vehicle.
So
Because you don't have registration of the vehicle.
the information for you.
You won't turn off the vehicle
No,
like we
I'm not,
asked.
because I don't
So
feel
now we're
comfortable.
asking you to step out of the vehicle.
No. No, I'm calling my husband.
Ma'am,
I don't feel
I've already told you.
All right, she's got some great music taste. Opening with the Ice Cube, transitioning to the Busta Rhymes.
You've been pulled over, okay?
Give me the ticket.
Okay. I can't even confirm who you are right now.
I just
When
told
are
you
gonna
my
make the
name.
ticket made?
Stop it.
The ticket gonna be made out to him.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Put your hands behind your back.
No.
Put your hands behind your back.
You don't make no goddamn sense. I'm suing the shit out of y'all. And you better put my dress up.
Yes, ma'am, we have a female. They'll be able to do that for you, okay?
All right, let's get her up.
No, don't get me up because I'm...
Fix her. Fix her. Pull her. Yeah, pull her.
Here, come take her lights.
Let's switch.
Surprise, surprise! We are back in Florida, Orlando Police Department, or it could be Orlando Sheriff.
That was my
No, Orlando.
pool or something. Oh, it's just a cramp. Those kids are. All you need to do is
I already went through all of
cooperate
this shit
with
with y'all
All right.
before.
Okay.
Same damn concept. I
All right.
told the other officer the
Look her up
same
on the
thing.
side.
I told the officer, get my Marine Corps tag off of there. There you go. Let me get the other one first.
Make sure it doesn't fall down.
It's not that kind of dress. It's
It's
a
not?
tube. Nope.
Okay. Just want to make sure everything's good.
All right, is she covered
Yep.
under there? Let's get her
We're
up.
good.
Come on up now.
Bend your knees. Sit up. No, sit up. There you go.
Come on up.
There you go.
Do you have any identification in that car?
I got a common law tag.
Okay, that's not an identification.
It is. Y'all got 5 of y'all for
No, let
one
me-
little bitty person?
She's got a what? It sounded like morale tag to me, but I'm positive I misheard that.
This would have went a whole different way if you just gave your ID.
I didn't have no ID.
Okay, you gotta be able to provide an ID.
I
If you
don't have
don't,
one. I
if
said I
you,
had a common law tag and y'all still not answering me.
That's
I mean,
not-
drug ID.
Okay, hold on, not Pomerol. Oh, I'm tired.
that's not how it works. You gotta be able to show us who you are. You can't just drive a vehicle and not know who you
I'm
are.
out of shape. I might as well
So
start
now you're
doing
going to
something
jail for
now.
something so simple because you don't want to listen. It's not because of us. It's because of you.
No, it's not because of me.
You could have been
That-
legal.
this, I already got 2 lawsuits
I got it.
against y'all about this.
Just put that on my front seat.
It's the same thing.
My money against yours. That neither one of those lawsuits stuck.
Every constitutional right. That's fine.
Promise you, we're not violating
Yes, you
anything.
are. My right to travel. My right to privacy. You yanked me out of my car. You reached your hand inside of my private vehicle. Tried to private automobile. I apologize for that.
So,
No, but
you,
that,
you're
I
going to be
already
able to
went through
provide.
this with somebody else. 5 other cops did this shit to me.
All right, man, I'm going to read you something. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You got a right to remain silent. Do you understand? Anything you say may be used in court. Do you understand? You got a right to talk to a lawyer before and during question. Do you understand? If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one will be provided to you before question or without charge. Do you understand? Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me? Do you want to talk about today? I need a yes or no answer. You want to talk about today, Miss Hawkins?
I want to call my husband.
Okay, well, I think he's actually coming to get your sons. Those are your sons in the vehicle? Okay. So once he gets here, I'll let you talk to him. But do you want to talk about why you're in the back of my car in handcuffs?
Nope.
No?
No,
Okay.
I do not want to talk about it.
All right. To let you know, you are under arrest right now. In the state of Florida, you must have the vehicle properly registered. I ran your tag that says it seems to have some type of characters that look like private. That's not a tag that somebody is going to give you in the state of Florida. Also, when I'm asking for your driver's license, and I'm asking you to turn down the vehicle so I can hear your name and your date of birth a little properly, instead of you having the music up loud, that's just so I can hear you a little bit better. You have not been identified at that time. I still need to make sure I get a photograph of you. Just because you give me some information that says...
I didn't give you any information. In fact, you didn't even ask me my name. You just kept asking to have my music turned down, which I told you no.
Everything's on body camera.
I know it's on body camera, so...
Well, if I can't hear you and you can't hear me because the music's so loud, then who's gonna know what the other person said?
We can talk about that when we go to court.
I asked you for your name and ID. You know,
And
I'd rather have your ID so I can get a picture.
I can give you my name. I don't have any ID. I told you that I lost that. So if you want to sit here and continue to make up little stuff to make your case better, then go ahead.
Well, there's no case that I need to make better.
It is a case because it's going to be a big case.
That's fine.
That's fine.
81400.
But
I gave you my name.
Okay. Well, I'm just letting you know while you're in the back seat, okay? When we tell you that you also need to cut the car off and that you need to come back to us, we're allowed to do that.
I don't need to come out of my private automobile to...
But that's your opinion, but I'm telling you what the law is.
That's not an opinion. Not by Constitution.
Okay. Well, you are under arrest and you will be transported to the jail.
Yeah.
And we will go from there, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Stupid, can you slide her seatbelt?
If only we can send her to that common law court that we have no idea where to find. Where does this common law court exist? Who runs it? Who enforces the sentencing that comes from this common law court?
Over to me on the other side. Well, I'm going to put one on for you.
I already talked about this.
Well, just in case we get into a wreck, I'm going to put your seatbelt on, okay?
Can I have the female do it? I want the female to do it. I want the female.
Everything's on body camera, ma'am. You will be able.
But I have a feeling that it had something to do with George Washington, John Adams, Madison, Monroe. They probably know who ran it. Too bad that was a long time ago.
Okay.
Like the last time.
How you doing, boss?
Yeah, okay. Not really good.
Yeah.
Okay, you there? Yes. Okay.
I say Jefferson.
All my permits is in my truck. I confirmed them on my computer. He's registered to the
Alexander Hamilton.
Yes, of the vehicle.
He's registered to the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't have a I was talking about for the tag. Remember, I used to bring the paperwork for the tag?
That is in other business. I was at the VA and other places, and I have a business. And what was going on is that I had all that in the vehicle, and I let my buddy keep the truck.
Okay.
And everything is in
You're supposed to have your registration in the vehicle.
Okay, I know what I'm supposed to do, sir.
Okay.
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
But one of you said that my wife resisted.
Yes. That was me.
And that's because she's terrified of you guys.
Well, I mean, she still got to abide by the law. I mean, I'm telling her to get out the vehicle, and she's saying no. And then when we try to get out of the vehicle, she can't swing and hit at the police. I'm just telling you, you can't do that. You follow what I'm saying? We wouldn't even be here if she would have just gave the officer identification and just complied with what we were requesting. Excuse me. Here you go.
So that's the thing. Ray-Ban glass?
Are we done with the traffic stop?
I am.
I don't want to reach around in the vehicle. We're done with it?
Are you serious?
Yes, sir.
I'm a United States Marine. I did 27 years. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, I got a family. There's a bunch of family that's been in the Marines. Okay?
Dude. I mean, I get that you fought for the freedoms of the people, but you also fought for the freedoms for the states to create and enforce their own laws.
So we're done with the traffic stop. Here's my card. Okay? All right.
But it's all yours. Thanks for your service.
Is your mother's wallet in there?
Okay. Yeah. All right. I appreciate it, y'all.
This is?
That's a universal ID card.
Universal, what agency issued that?
Common law courts.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
All right, this
Common law courts. Again.
is
You want to take a picture of that? With a QR code on the back of it?
Might as well Google it.
Mr. Hawkins, she was requesting a bottle of water. Do you have a bottle of water in the car?
Is there a bottle of water in there?
Yeah, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sir. But the only thing is that you can't drive this on the roadway. Okay? So we don't want to be back in this position again. Okay?
Thanks, buddy.
So go ahead. You'll stand by till you get it. You want to give her water now?
Yeah.
Hey man, Lee, that's some nice footwear you got on there, man. Nice.
Oh, I appreciate it, buddy. All right, man. You want a couple drinks?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, your husband here. He's gonna take your sons. Okay?
Okay, can I speak to him?
I'll roll down the window real quick. I'll roll down the... You want him to, or? All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right, Lee.
I appreciate it, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and tell them what you need.
Go ahead and post the bail.
I'm going to do that right now, baby. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave from here, and I'm going to go post your
It's
bill.
gonna take like 3-4 hours, just to let you know, processing and shit.
Okay. And I'll get that squared away, and I'll come get you when they let you go. Okay, babe?
All right.
Just relax.
I don't have my blood pressure medicine, so
You don't have your medicine?
no, I don't have my inhaler, so.
We'll address all that at the jail. I'm trying to go. We'll try to work with her on the bond, but we'll address that at the jail.
You need medical treatment right now?
You know what? By the time she gets there, she's going to need medical treatment.
She was charged with resisting an officer with violence and driving while her license was suspended or revoked with knowledge. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Well, that was fun. Let me see if I could sneak this up here real quick. So I was looking for some common law courts. This is my state. This is where I live, somewhere in this box here. Okay, so common law courts. The first type of court we have is county court. County court represented by all the different colors. Or maybe that might be the district court. Oh, sorry. County courts represented by the different counties. So we've got El Paso County, Teller County, Lincoln County. Then we have our district courts represented by the numbers, which are the colors. Water courts. Water rights are a big deal here in the western United States. They probably are everywhere, but they're a real big deal out here. So they have their own court system. Appellate courts, Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court, and that's referring to the state Supreme Court. So, where do we see the common law court? Specifically, the court. I'm not talking about the common law principles that might be found within the court system, but my state doesn't have any, and I promise that Colorado recognizes more common law than most other states. But we don't have our own court system. And I just realized you can't see my freaking screen. Hang on. Let me just get me out of here. Let me get it. Okay, good. Less me. More you. Okay, here we go. So, district courts. Are the number ones. numbers and colors. Counties are the individual boxes. Here are all the county courts. District courts, as we mentioned, the colors and numbers. Water courts, I don't think they're outlined specifically here unless they're represented by one of the colors. Then we have the appellate courts, Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Cool. Interior city or county, trials by county. Yeah. So, couldn't find it. I'm not going to look in Florida because I'm not going to find it. All right. I had, as I mentioned before, a lot of court today. So, let's just start off with. Which court do you guys want to go to first? Let's start in the magistrates. Okay, this one was kind of funny. Wasn't entirely entertaining, but the defendant was clearly frustrated and things were not going his way. And then they did go his way, but he didn't realize they went his way. Oh no, did they just take it down? No. Wait, hold on. Oh god. This is what I hate. You gotta catch the courts. Let me try to refresh it. No. Okay, we got two courts. That's no fun. Yeah, you got to catch these guys. So that must have been from yesterday, and I must have just missed that 24-hour mark. Okay. Well, I should have downloaded it. Actually, I don't think you can download that one. Nope, you got to stream them within 24 hours or put them somewhere. All right, so then I spent most of the day with Judge Simpson. I was trying to run Simpson's Court, Butler County, Slavin's Court, I think King's, I don't know. I was in like 5 different courts, but it's hard to pay attention to all of them at the same time. So let's check out. Let's go to Slavin's Court, see if that video is still there, which I'm, according to my screen as of right now, it is. I don't remember which. I think it was this one. It might be the one right after.
Which leaves a balance of 385.
Can Mr. Sanders have a payment plan for that balance?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm on my C plus game today.
So it's a total of $1,260. Pay $875 within 40 days.
Right.
Pay the balance, which would be $385 at $77 a month, with the first payment to start August 29th.
I just remembered which court I was looking for. Which case. It was not the first one. Let me just do one of these. Well, I didn't say my spot. That's fun. But I do remember what. Okay, so there's the guys at jail. He covers those. No big deal. There's a whole bunch of dismissals.
In case of the people of the city of Taylor versus Michael Vargas. This is in reference to cases that are in default of 25172237. 25.
Let's see.
Corporal Pilcher. Corporal, was there any resolution in the matter?
Bunch of corporals instead of prosecutors.
To allow an unlicensed driver, including yourself, to drive that motor vehicle?
Yes.
All right, I found there's a factual basis for accepting your plea.
It was after the break. This is what I'm looking. It was right after the break. That's why I had the. Okay, was that right after this lady's case? Here we go.
You need to come out of the breakout room here, sir.
Okay, not a big deal. But this scenario is kind of weird. It'll get there. I'm at the right spot.
Mr. Kalani?
Mr. Kalani?
I'm not sure where he went. Mr. Kalani?
Hello.
So turn your video on, please. Sir, your attorney, you hired a Tessa Gardner?
Yeah, from Hallmark. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know where from, but last time we were here on the 24th, your attorney didn't appear, and now your attorney hasn't appeared again. So
he hired an attorney. They haven't appeared twice in a row. Now, I'm going to let this play out, but why I'm letting this play out, I'm going to try to find this attorney.
listen, I understand that you have an attorney that you hired, but they're not showing up. I have a court-appointed attorney if you'd like one, or I can reschedule this, and this is going to be the last time that it gets rescheduled. If it doesn't, then I'll just appoint you a court-appointed attorney, I guess. So, do you want to speak to a court-appointed attorney, or you want to give your attorney a call and say, hey, this is the second time? Because what's going to happen is I'm going to show cause your attorney and maybe hold them in contempt of court for not showing up. But you want to give her a call, or do you want to talk to House Counsel here?
If I talk to a House Counsel, would they charge me?
But if you can't afford an attorney, one would be appointed to you by the court. So that's the whole appointing one to the court.
Okay. I'll try talking. I'll just go with the House attorney.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's up to you, because I'll just give it another date, and if they don't show up, then that's.
Okay, if they don't show up, what happens then? Because I'm not in control of that.
Then you're gonna have to either bring in. See, here's the thing: in the in between time, you'll probably call your attorney and say, "Hey," because I don't know if you pay this attorney or not, but you're gonna say, "Hey, this is the second time that you haven't shown up, and if you don't show up with me and appear with me because you filed your appearance." If you don't appear with me in court next time, the judge said he's going to show cause you and said something about contempt. So you can let your attorney know that. And I think that they'll understand what that means about making sure that they get here. So you want me to set this for one last time to see if your attorney's going to show up that you hired?
Yeah, then if they don't, hopefully they
All
do.
right, so,
if they don't, can I get a House attorney then?
You can, because I'm not going to let you go off by yourself without an attorney, one way or the other. But I understand that you have the right to hire an attorney, and that's fine. I got nothing wrong with someone who wants to hire their own attorney. But if this attorney isn't going to show up, I'm not just going to use this as an excuse to kick the can down the road type of thing. So I'm going to set this for. I'm just going to put the same thing happened. And I'm going to set this for July 29th.
July 29th.
Actually, July 22nd.
July 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you then, sir.
Is it also at 110?
Yep.
All right.
We'll see you then. People versus Schlack.
So that's pretty much it for that one. I mean, just imagine hiring an attorney and then they just don't show up. On top of that, the attorney has filed an appearance. So you're left hanging there, buddy. And then making that phone call. Miss Attorney, you remember how I hired you? And then you filed your appearance. and you didn't show up. Well, the judge said something about contempt. I don't know what that means, but I think it's more of a problem for you than it is for me. So they said they might give me a free lawyer. Can I have my money back, or can you just show up? Thanks, Tessa Gardner. I couldn't find her. I'm sure if I did enough digging, I can find an attorney named Tessa Gardner somewhere near Taylor, Michigan. But all right, so that's all I found in Slavin's courtroom today. Now, this one in Simpson's a little bit longer. I might try to find that one that wouldn't pull up earlier, but I think it's pulled down for the day. So this is the one I spent most of the morning with, and I was just like, this is just weird. This is a jurisdiction issue. Apparently, this case is filed in 2 different courts, and nobody's making a whole lot of sense except for Simpson. Although, well, I'll make my comments along the way, but I feel like I had a slightly better resolution, but I don't think it's something that the judge could have decided. I think that my idea would have fallen on the plaintiff. But let's hit go and go.
Whatever. Patrick Tatura versus Martin Yams.
I don't know what that sign means. She's just like,
Do you need to see?
see if I can join.
No, he won't be staying long.
Yeah, and that turns out to not be true. He'll be there for a while.
I hope that's the case, Judge.
Me too.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. Eric Wadavsky, 65354 on behalf of plaintiffs.
Good morning, Your Honor. Darwin Fair.
It's hard to see them
number 31266.
The plaintiff filed a motion to lift the stay and enter an order of eviction. At the time, I had not received a response, but I thought I wasn't sure where other proceedings were. I realized what was represented in the motion.
Quick, I always tend to gravitate towards Simpson. I think what I like about him the most is that he shows everything. I hate to use the expression emotions on his sleeve, but if he's frustrated, he's covering his face. If he's laughing, he's laughing. If he thinks you say something dumb, he's going to tell you say something dumb.
And so I set this for hearing. So.
Well, Judge, I hope we would not be here today. We've been down this road a number of times, and your question is always the same question, and the answer is always the same answer, which is the Wayne County Circuit Court has not closed the file. There's still pending actions in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court that impact on the issue that's before this court. So unless we're here to argue the Wayne County Circuit Court motion, I don't know what more to say to the judge. There's really nothing more to say.
This property is located in Washtenaw County, however.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Yeah. Yes. The property is in Washtenaw, so I'm not clear why I'm worried about anything being litigated in Wayne County.
Well, what happened?
Let me rephrase that. I don't know why I would be worried about that with reference to this active proceeding forth in the eviction happening.
Well, the reason, Judge, is for the same reasons that occurred multiple times before this court, which is the property in Washtenaw County is subject to a settlement agreement that was entered into with the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So this is part and parcel of this global settlement. And the reality of it is that this case on this property is still subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, as has been the case every time we get before this court. as every time we get before this court, it's the same issue, Judge. And now this is, I will admit, this is the first time I've heard the court say this, but the reality is still the reality. This property is part of, and Judge, I know you do not want me to repeat myself, and I don't like to repeat myself, but I'm a little concerned that if this is not being gotten across, is every time we come to court, it's because
Just for the sake of a grammar school check, been gotten across. Yeah.
the same issue of this global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge.
Well, no. Before I would, right. I mean, the reason the case is here is for whatever its reasons. But part of the reason that things were stayed is because clearly it was headed up the chain, the appellate chain. My understanding is that's no longer the case.
No. And let me
know that.
No, that's not the case. And so let me explain it this way, Judge, because I'm trying to get into your head. What the court, I think, is concerned about is the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case that directly impact this case. And that case, the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals.
Right.
Okay, that case was dismissed, Judge, as a result of a global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So what happens in this case is still being handled by the Wayne County Circuit Court judge because the Washtenaw County case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals, was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the settlement.
Let me cut to the chase. Why wouldn't I just lift my stay, issue the order of eviction, allow it to be executed at some future time, that they couldn't do it right away? Allow it to be executed at some future time. And if you're correct, then get a stay from Wayne County.
Okay, well, Judge, okay, now, and I'm hearing you, and I'll walk down that road with you. So the issue of the quote unquote eviction is a function of the ownership of the subject property. The ownership of the subject property is specifically before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So let's assume that the court says, okay, I mean, enough's enough, although it's the same issue that has been before this court multiple times, and the court says the same thing multiple times, which is, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court has made a decision, which is what, okay.
I don't know that I said anything about Wayne County. No, I think I said something about Washtenaw County and the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
No.
Go ahead.
No. It's never about the Washtenaw County. It's always about Wayne County. It's always about Wayne County. It's never about Washtenaw County, because Washtenaw County, Judge, again, was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals. It was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the global settlement that was before Wayne County Circuit Court Judge.
And Mr. Fair, I'm saying, let's assume for the sake of argument that you're correct. I have a feeling there's going to be disagreement as to what you're saying in part. But why then wouldn't I just grant the relief, issue the order, and then you get a stay of that and allow an opportunity, so I wouldn't have it where it could be executed immediately, give you an opportunity to then get before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which you're saying this property is part of some global settlement, and allow that court to basically stay any order of eviction or enjoin the plaintiffs in this case from moving forward.
Okay, Judge, allow me to walk down that road. Okay, so
why is that a hard question? I don't need to be walked down the road. Why is that a difficult question to answer?
because the hearing, no. Because the hearing that you're making reference to, that I should go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge and ask for a stay, is a hearing that is essentially scheduled for July the 18th. That hearing will address the very point this court is making. So
then why don't I grant the relief, indicate that the writ cannot be executed until, if your hearing's on the 28th of July,
no, 18th.
That it can't be executed until the 28th of July, giving the 10-day statutory period from the time of that hearing.
Okay, Judge, this is the road we always walk down, because what happens is on the 18th, we don't know what Judge Ewell will do. Judge Ewell may say, I'm not going to hear it on the 18th. Or, and Judge, I'm only going by what happened in the past, and it's safe.
You're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave.
I do not want to argue.
Yeah, you don't take a phone call during court. Hey, I noticed I had a viewer for like 41 minutes. So whoever that was, thank you for coming to check me out. If you stop by and or if you watch this video later, please hit like and subscribe. It helps me tremendously. I'll get better. Content's always coming out.
Judge,
go ahead.
Case. So what has happened in the past, which is probably what's going to happen today, is that on the 18th, Judge Ewell will do one of two things, which has happened in the past. When this issue is before this court, Judge Ewell may or may not hear the case on the 18th, or may hear the case on the 18th and then decide not to make a decision until sometime in the future. Now, again, Judge, I'm not saying this for the first time. This has been the history of this case. Now, if we look at what happened, they filed a motion to go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, and it was scheduled for the following Friday. At the same time, they filed this motion in front of you and filed a motion in front of the 35th District Court, assuming that the Wayne County Circuit Court judge would close the file. Because I will tell you, Judge, the question that you always ask, this is the question you always ask: what's the status of the Wayne County Circuit Court case? Is it open or is it closed? The answer is always the same. It's open. Your response is always the same. Well, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court makes a decision.
So he's basically going to say, well, I'm going to stop doing that now. That's my guess.
And then a couple of times, Judge, you said, I'm going to adjourn it to right after when the circuit court judge makes a decision.
So why don't I put an end to that and just grant their relief?
Well, because, Judge.
Because it doesn't leave you, Mr. Fair, without remedy.
Because, Judge, it doesn't favor my side.
Because you can always ask the Wayne County Circuit Court, as I've said, to either stay that writ if they've taken some jurisdiction over this property, or to enjoin the defendants from proceeding on the writ that I would issue.
Well, Judge, this is a conversation we've had at nauseum all the time. And
well, I'm trying to end it.
And what I think but I think, Judge, what you recognize is, well, that means I've got to run to the Wayne County Circuit, Wayne County Circuit Court, ask for a stay. The judge is going to say, aren't we going to be hearing this on the 18th? And then on the 18th, like what has happened in the past.
Well, hold on a second. No, you wouldn't have to do that if you would listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I could grant the plaintiff's relief. They could not do anything, and I'm not even saying on the 18th. I'm saying for a 10-day period after that hearing. So if the judge at that point in Wayne County doesn't do anything, the 10-day statutory period would begin to run on the writ.
Wait a minute, if he, wait, Judge, okay, so the motion that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which plaintiff acknowledges.
That's the face of a man who is losing. Yep. Yes, sir. You are losing. At least part way.
Affects what this court can do. What they're asking the Wayne County Circuit Court is close the case, close it. And then if it's closed, then they can come to you and say, hey, Judge, it's closed. So let's go back to that point. On the 18th, if the judge does not close it, if the judge does what he has done in the past.
If the judge does not close it, you could request of the judge to enjoin the plaintiffs from proceeding forward. If the judge does close it, the writ would proceed.
Well,
that seems really simple to me.
The 10 days after that.
Right, 10 days after.
But that means a couple things. Number one, if I'm here in the court is saying, well, if it gets adjourned to August the 10th, August the 18th, another month. And if at that time, the judge closes it, that means in this interim period between July the 18th and August the 18th, by definition, they can't do anything.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're saying the Wayne County Circuit Court has that this is part of some global resolution.
Correct.
Okay, I'll take you at your word for that. I've not seen the resolution. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I am saying is, I will assume you to be correct. I will assume also that Judge Ewell will act with his authority regarding any agreement there is. Right?
Correct.
So if I grant the plaintiff's relief, built into that are enough protections for the defendant in terms of being able to request of Judge Ewell to enjoin the plaintiffs from acting. If that case is going to be adjourned out or he doesn't rule on that day.
No. Well, okay, Judge. And I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to put the past in the past because we've always in this situation and your position is real simple. Is it open or closed? If it's closed, if it's
no. The question is it pending or not?
Okay.
So if the issue, Mr. Friend, if the issue before this court is pending somewhere elsewhere,
correct.
That is always what I will address.
Correct.
And I think properly so. It doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. It sounds to me, based upon what you're saying, and again, I haven't seen it, that there is some resolution of this global resolution, whatever it is. I'm saying, fine. There are still issues to be decided with that. They don't need to be decided here. And so that I could grant the relief that the plaintiff requests with enough safeguards that protect the defendant until whatever that issue to be resolved is.
Well, if the court is saying that the plaintiff in this case cannot act upon any decisions of this court pending.
That is not what I am saying. That is not what I'm saying, and you know that's not what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Judge, my client wants to ask a question. You say yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, we did everything. It seems like we get penalized every.
Before you continue this statement, let's just validate what you're thinking. Yes, you're losing. You're getting evicted. Okay, let's hear you out.
Not in your court so much, but we do everything. We had a global settlement. 3 pieces of property, one in Washtenaw, 2 in Wayne County. We all signed, the lawyers all signed what had to be done to get that done. We do everything in the agreement. My family, do everything in the agreement. They refused to sign a paper, and we're here. And we're getting penalized by getting an eviction. No matter how you rule it, it's against us. Whether we settle something on the 18th or not. We're not supposed to even be here. This is a pending case in Wayne County Court that we all agreed to settle. That guy has the ruling. I don't know what we're even here for.
You, like your attorney, are not listening to me.
You're
I
saying you're
take
gonna
you
rule
at, if
and
you
give
want
them
to
their way.
interrupt me, then you go right ahead.
No, I'm sorry. It's just, I've done everything for 7 years. I've worked up in this, and I've got, his client has jerked me around for 7 years. Well, and I haven't been able to live in the house I built. And then I'm gonna get an eviction notice that I know doesn't mean anything to you guys, but to my family, it means everything.
Sir, maybe you and your attorney should listen to what the court is proposing to do. Because both of you have been saying the same thing, that there is this agreement out there that is subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm not going to even begin to get involved in that.
Right. Can I say one thing? I'm sorry, I'll leave.
No.
He doesn't get it.
Judge didn't say.
He's always been good, but
I
gotta get out of here before I have a breakdown, man.
Yeah, Judge didn't say he couldn't say it, so why don't you say it?
All I am saying is there is this agreement. I've not read this agreement. I don't know what this agreement is per se in terms of how the court is ruling. Not even in a lot of ways have detailed specifics about what needs to be decided. Maybe the issues, sir, that you're raising need to be decided. What I'm saying is, as to this property, if indeed that's going to be decided in Wayne County as part of this agreement, I'm going to issue the order. I would issue the order of eviction, subject to the date that your next hearing is, and giving enough time so that your interest in regard to that settlement can be protected by Mr. Fair. That's all I am saying. I'm not ruling that there's going to be an eviction. I'm not ruling any of that.
Then why rule at all?
Because it's my job.
Okay.
Sit down.
Sorry.
Judge, can we rest at this point, and then I have a rebuttal after you speak to brother counsel?
He needs to get out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think you better go out. I'm going to pass it briefly. You need to go out and check your client.
Oh, no, Judge.
No, go out and check.
That's for any hot-tempered person, that's the smartest thing they can do. And I know a lot of times we see it's shackled prisoners and people that don't even realize that walking out is an option. But this guy realized he's upset. He's gonna lash out, and he decides to go backwards instead of forward. So even though Judge Simpson is in check mode right now, I think they'll cool down pretty quickly. Let's find out.
Check your client.
I will, Judge, but he's fine.
He's fine. This is him.
Avalon Housing versus Yolanda Shep.
Very good morning. Hearing the plaintiff.
There's the Simpson smile.
Okay. Your Honor, I would.
All right, they're playing this. I wonder what this would be like. I've never, got to this point in law where I understand the shuffle of the chairs. And what I have seen a lot though is if there's a lot of defendants or if there's a lot of plaintiffs, somebody's usually sitting in the juror's box. But these ladies were just stacked behind the two gentlemen the whole time, and then this one's like, "Oh, here's a space. I've got two laptops." And anyway, let's let's see if the other people come back. But this one's, I don't, there's the guy built his own property. There's 3 properties involved in this lawsuit. I wish I knew more of the details. I don't. Um, you know, just by the guy saying that I can't live in the house that I built, and we agreed on a bunch of stuff with this guy, and now they're just not signing. They've got part of this case in Wayne County, 2 properties. They've got 1 property in Washtenaw County, which is Simpson's jurisdiction. This is obviously not their first appearance. This is the first time I've seen them appear. It's been continued. Apparently, the theme here is Simpson saying, okay, well, what's going on with Wayne? I'm imagining Wayne is saying something similar, but since the bulk of the properties are in Wayne County, they're essentially waiting on Wayne County to make the global resolution decision. But it's not going to matter if the plaintiff is not going to settle on anything. And clearly, the plaintiff is sitting here saying, well, we're still in the Washtenaw County courtroom. This eviction case is still open. There's no triable issue. The global resolution might as well be a myth at this point. I'm sure mediation has probably failed if they're at this point, but it's still on the table, at least for Wayne County. Judge Simpson is basically saying, okay, let's stop the continuance. I'm going to make a ruling. There's no triable issue. The plaintiff has made its burden or its case. You, sir, are being evicted. I'm not issuing the standard writ that I normally would, which would be 10 days from now. I'm going to issue it 10 days from the Wayne County case so that your lawyer will have a chance to do his job. It'll shorten his time frame quite a bit. But he's also saying that if this global resolution does exist and it does include this Washtenaw County property, then the judge in Wayne County can tie this in there, where essentially it cancels out the writ that I'm going to impose now, because we're going to close this in Washtenaw County. We're going to stop continuing this contingent upon what they're going to do in Wayne County. So it seems as clear as mud to me. Let's figure out where they go from here.
Toro versus,
Good morning again, Your Honor. Eric Ladat on behalf of the plaintiff.
Good morning, Your Honor. And
we finally get to hear the plaintiff, although this might be the first case. I saw them shuffling back in. I might be a little early.
Darwin Fair on behalf of, and Your Honor, if I may, if I could just make one last statement, give Brother Counsel an opportunity to talk. I can give just a little.
Go ahead.
So, all right, Judge. Plaintiff counsel knows the posture. It's based upon what's happened in the past. So they filed a motion to close the case because that is the question, Judge, you always ask, and you wouldn't rule because of the circuit court. So they filed a motion in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court asking that the case be closed. And that was up for hearing a Friday ago. Well, we've been down this road before about a notice of hearing and a precipice. So the precipice wasn't accepted. But at the same time they filed the motion, Judge, they thought or presupposed on that date the judge would rule in their favor. And so at the same time they filed motions for eviction in this court and also 35th District Court. Well, we both were alerted that the Wayne County Circuit Court was not going to hear the Wayne County Circuit Court case when they had noticed it for hearing. And I was notified by plaintiff counsel that, well, I'll let you know when the precipice is accepted, which means the hearings before this court had to be pushed off until after the Wayne County Circuit Court made a decision. So that is where the breakdown occurred, because then the Wayne County Circuit Court accepted the precipice for the 18th. And so initially the thinking was, well, let's just adjourn this case until after the 18th. I reminded Brother Counsel, we've been down this road a million times. What happens is whatever date that the Wayne County Circuit Court comes up with, oftentimes either doesn't occur, or if it does occur, the proverbial can gets kicked down the road. Then there was a breakdown, because at that point, Brother Counsel says, well, let's just go with the hearing, even though this hearing was initially scheduled because it presupposed the Wayne County Circuit Court would make a decision before we got before this court. And so that's why my initial argument for the court was, I don't know why we're here. So, Judge, I would like to defer any further argument unless the court has questions after Brother Counsel.
So that brings me to my original point. There's a way to settle this part without putting this in front of the judge, and that's by the plaintiff removing it from the court. They don't want to do that. They're getting nowhere with the defendant, and they want at least some traction on this, since nobody's agreed on this global resolution. So they're showing up to court, and they're just, I don't even think they said a word this whole time. Have they said a word? They were about to, but they didn't.
Questions, Counsel?
I have no objections, Your Honor, to the court entering the order of eviction, but not allowing its perfection until after July 28th.
Court, having heard argument on this, so the plaintiff's motion to lift the stay to the extent that there was one and enter an order of eviction is granted. A writ of or an order of eviction may issue, but here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to issue it with a firm date of August 1st, 2025 or thereafter. The 56-day rule on the issuance of a order of eviction is waived by the court. That, so that the record is clear, that should give enough time should the defendants wish to seek other relief before the Wayne County Circuit Court. They may do so. It is a period after the hearing, and actually it would extend the period out originally contemplated by the court. Regarding the 10 days, it extends it out a little bit more than that. So, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Always a pleasure.
I need you to prepare.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, can we put this on the record that I need to see the order before it gets signed, because Brother Counsel has a habit of sending orders that I have.
You know what? I'm not going to be between the counsel. Go out there, get a form order. You guys fill it out, approve it before you leave my building.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, that was a jab there at the end, wasn't it? His brother counsel has a habit of lying. I mean, that's pretty much what he was saying. Okay, well, so I mean, this is out of Washington County now. I mean, obviously there could be motions. There could be plenty of things to bring it back. I mean, there's Simpson left the door wide open for resolution, and then plaintiff gets what they want. They get traction. Defendant is squirming, but it at least puts the pressure on the attorney to figure out this global resolution. Now is in the game of negotiation. If concessions need to be made, they're going to have to come on the defendant's side, because he's already down one property to 3, and I don't know the circumstance. I'm just assuming that things aren't going in the defendant's favor for the global resolution purpose. Anyway, I had three cases I wanted to do, and I've got a good stream coming up. I've got a stream. It's gonna be kind of a weird one. It's somewhat of a tribute to a guy on YouTube that just a good dude. Um, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it with the wife if she's willing. It's been a hard time trying to get her interested in the body cam, court cam stuff. I keep trying to send her the funnier ones, the Karens, the soft sits. She's just like, eh. She doesn't give a shit. I get it. Um, she sells jewelry online. That's not her main job, but so we're about as opposite as you can get, and it works for us. But it would be fun to do this with her. She's a much better speaker. Although when these sinuses heal, hopefully it does something to my voice and my breathing. Um, she's definitely much more fun to look at, much easier on the eyes. So we've got a stream, and it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be sports. It's gonna be a lot of social issues and politics, and it's gonna be mainly a tribute to a guy on social media who does a lot of good, and we need to make sure that this guy continues doing good, and therefore we're gonna stream about his streams, and I've got a feeling he'll be totally cool with that. So thanks for watching. New channel. I'm always, I'm happy for any advice, any support. I've got my PayPal link in the description. I've got my wife's channels in the description. If you want to go buy some jewelry for good stuff, real cheap. Let me see if I can show you. Let's see. Hold on. Make sure I'm still going. Yeah. According to this, I'm still moving along, but okay. I've got like I know it's I keep not. I got a mess that I need to fix, but like all those shelves are full of like rings and bracelets and um necklaces. No, it's not, you know, it's not the Shane Company, it's not Hellsberg. Good stuff, like $150 rings that she sells for like 30. Um Sometimes more, sometimes she'll sell a $130 thing for $130. But a lot of good stuff. So if you yeah, just click on those links. I think it's mostly Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. She does a lot of lives. I'm just gonna stay here and hang out and see if somebody joins the stream. Cause nobody came to visit me today. I'm trying to find a good time slot. I just need like 10 of you guys just to pop in one time and say, "Yo, we're finally checking out your channel," and then I'm gonna be like, "Sweet, share please, share, like, subscribe." I'm doing it for the money. I spend so much time watching body cam videos and sovereign citizen videos and studying sovereign citizens, First Amendment audit videos. God, I started this whole journey by watching like 500 hours worth of First Amendment audit videos. And where I stand on First Amendment auditors, I think that there's some good ones sometimes. And I think even the best ones fail miserably sometimes. And I think that there's a there's not a whole lot you can do with First Amendment audits anymore, right? I mean, you've got the five pillars of the First Amendment, and what you're going to do is you are going to basically put yourself in a position to where you just are acting on your rights in public, and you're seeing if you get an antagonist reaction to that. To do that, you guys are ending up in libraries, post offices, DMVs. And those are, I get that police stations and it's like city council buildings, sort of courtrooms, police stations are the main one, right? Especially police parking lots, whatever. I get those are your main places, but the libraries and the DMVs and the post offices, we've seen enough of it to the point where it's not going to help anybody, right? You're not helping society. You're baiting a lawsuit at that point. To the counterpoint to what I just said is it's not the same everywhere, right? So if you're going state to state, county to county, city to city, and you're educating based on what you're doing there, and you don't get yourself in a lot of trouble, and you find yourself in a position to where you inform the people and they have a better understanding of what you're trying to do, fine. Do it once, maybe, move on, be respectful, move on. There's I don't know why I'm going on this rant. I just figured since I lost that one court case out of my docket, that I'd have a little time to talk about something. So, anyway, there's one of my former favorite First Amendment audit. I want to say I'll call it a team. It's a guy and his son that I think they're originally from Colorado, and they travel quite a bit, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good auditors. They're more on the right side than the wrong side, I would say, for the most part. But they have this approach where they're really respectful, and then it all goes out the window the second somebody challenges them. And this happens every time in a First Amendment audit. The people that they're trying to educate the public, let me rephrase that. The people that they are trying to educate the public are the people that they are condemning when they are doing this. For example, these guys were on a public sidewalk in the middle of a business area, like a retail restaurant type of area, right? Retail restaurant, retail. You know what I mean. Shopping area, outdoor shopping area. We used to call them mini malls, and they were just filming people, which is fine. People walk by, hey, what are you filming? And then they ended up post outside of a restaurant with the cameras facing toward the restaurant. Still legal, still fine. So a couple of people come out and say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" "Oh, blah blah blah, filming public purposes." "Oh, what's your story?" "Oh, we're not sure yet. We'll see what happens." Um, Restaurant owner comes out, completely respectful. "Hey, you guys, I've got a lot of people coming in and out. They don't really want to be filmed. We're asking if you can respectfully just move along." And then, the chest puffs out, and uh, this that's the kind of garbage that tends to happen in most First Amendment audit videos, where you're establishing self and you're in a positive way, trying to show, you know, it could just be a scenario like, hey, we're illegally allowed to do this. Um, this is actually what we do every day, and we do it this way for this reason. But instead, if you get into passive aggressive defense mode, the next time somebody's going to see a First Amendment auditor, they're just going to clutch their pearls. They're gonna just not be friendly, and it's gonna create more of a negative cycle than a positive cycle. So anyway, I don't know why I went down that route, but then again, on the positive side, I do think the First Amendment auditors have really exposed the good old boys. The police that um, the police that basically body cams were intended for. It's the easiest way I can put that. And there's not many of them. Those few make their whole squads look terrible. I mean, just imagine what Minnesota went through for they're still going through. Um, there's a lot of stuff that's come out of Minnesota, and it wasn't just George Floyd. But I'm pro police. I'm pro laws the way they're written. I'm pro being respectful. I'm pro not breaking the law. I don't break the law. Originally, this channel was originally called Neighborhood Watch because I had a string of bad luck. Somebody put a freaking pipe bomb on my truck, and yeah, it's. I actually have that video when the sheriff, the police, the everybody came, bomb squad. My truck's been broken into like 3 or 4 times. Luckily, myself or my family has never been injured in any of these scenarios, but physically, a lot of property damage. So I started putting cameras everywhere, and I noticed there's just, even in a very small, quiet neighborhood like mine, a lot of stuff happens at night. It's mostly raccoons and deer. I get a lot of deer. I get a lot of deer. And if you drove through my neighborhood, it doesn't make sense that I get a lot of deer, but I get a lot of deer. The raccoons are hilarious. They fight each other at night. The camera on the truck just points right at the dumpster, and these raccoons can fling a trash bag like a full grown man. It's insane. But then again, I got these neighbors that sneak out in the middle of the night, and they know I have a ring cam, so their front door faces my door. And ever since I put that ring cam, they keep jumping over their balcony. They're on a second story to avoid my ring cam, but they don't realize my truck cam is picking it up. Anyway, and then I've got a camera on my other car. Oh, I need to check those more often. I usually only check them when I think something's happened at night, but I gotta check those, erase the discs. They hopefully they're still rewriting over each other. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. If you hung on, if you got to this point in the video, it means you probably set your phone down at the end of that last case and just like, why is this dude still talking? Why does he sound like a stoner? I don't smoke weed ever, ever. It's at least something. Some I don't know. It's been a while. I didn't like it. Made me. Okay, guys. Oh God, part of me just was. You know what? If I find more videos, I'm just gonna start another stream. Why not? I got zero. I got 10 followers, 10 subscribers, and I don't know if 10 subscribers are ever watching my stuff, but I really appreciate your subs. And please help me turn that 10 into. I was about to say 20, but help me turn that 10 into 11. That'd be awesome. I got kids and a lot of vet and truck bills that I needed to pay for from last year. But I like doing this, and I'll keep doing this. And hopefully you'll learn some things from the I watch. Well, I'm trying to make this stream exactly go 1 hour, 18 minutes, and like